I told you this guy's a genius.
Self-proclaimed, maybe.
Well, as long as it works for him.
Exactly my point.
Awesome.
Right, first of all, I'm right in the middle of something. I cannot get any rest. Rest assured that that's the truth. All right, let's just see if we manage 40 push-ups. Let's just see. I mean, if you're like me, you know, content creator, spending your time at home, or you're addicted to computer games, or you're just afraid to leave the house, well, the best way to deal with that and the best way to deal with back problems is to start doing something right now. And, you know, I'm just trying to annoy everybody because I have a lot of time. And I think that's what I'm really good at, just annoying. I mean, even this, this is women's push-ups. I'm not a great fan of push-ups, but if I do nothing, I just wither away. And on a weekday, I can rather do some push-ups, but I have to take this off, otherwise I get incredibly angry. I hate restricting fabric when I do something that makes me kind of sweaty or build up heat. I have to dissipate the heat. Okay, I don't know why, it's just the way it is. Okay, let's try 40. 1, 2, 3. And always do them full. 5, 6, yeah. 7, 8, 9, 10. That was 1/4. 11, 12. That was half. It was 3/4. This is basically cheating. Now 10 more. All right. I don't know why I feel so weak. I mean, I slept a lot today. I don't know what I'm even working for anymore. Because nothing's happening anyway, if you know what I mean. I just don't want to feel weak. I just want to be strong. And this society is weak. Because everybody's just living in the internet. And the point of being alive is that you have a body and that you use the body to do things. You know, having sex with another being, or building a family, of course. You know, that's what nature is trying to tell us. I mean, you know, bees are basically having sex with nature, with flowers. It's pollination. Then humans come and they make the earth so toxic that sex is starting to be toxic, which is why I don't have sex at all anymore, right? You know, what I call sex is being creative. You know, I make a video, I make some art, and that's self-responsibility. And I don't know, right? I may live like this for the rest of my life. Because what does relativity teach us? You know, there is no time that you can intersect into seconds and minutes. Time is relative, which means sometimes you are bored, which means time is stretching out. But time can also stretch out on a beautiful day, right? And every time you stretch out time, it pulls itself together again, in the end. So, you cannot just say a second is a second, because a second may be eternity, and 1 hour is just an instant. You know, 10 years go by in a flash, and suddenly you're 40. But 40 is relative. I mean, me at the age of 40, well, I'm 34 now, and I feel ancient. I feel my time's already up. And maybe that's my time of being alone, who knows, right? You know, whatever it is, it's a challenge. You know, it's not going to be easier to be with a partner and have a child. It's just the next level. And don't ask me why I have to be okay with being alone. That's just my life. Why do I have to, you know, sit at home, do this kind of stuff, talk about spirituality, have basically no time for anything else but to focus on my goal? Why do I have to do it? It's basically out of the question. All I know is I just need to do this. You know, I may feel like I want to do it, but on a certain level I also think it makes no sense, because everything's relative, alright, we got that. Everything's also duality, which is, you know, there is no good and there is no bad. Because what I do may be good for you and bad for me. And it may be good for me or bad for you. And, you know, there's all kinds of intermediate stages. So in the end, it doesn't matter. So the question is, why do anything at all? You know, if I have the feeling life's fucked because the government is corrupt, yeah, but you cannot lie about this, that there are also moments that you like. I have moments that I like, but I try to keep them to myself. This is a moment that I like because I just showed, hey, I can still do 40 push-ups. You know, and maybe I feel old because I've been eating stupid food. I know that bread and gluten and beer make me more tired. They make me more sleepy. And still I want to be sleepy, and still I want to eat and drink these things. You know, I know that if I smoke cannabis, I'm getting weaker by the day. You know, if I start today, it may help me. I do it tomorrow. You know, 2 weeks from now, basically, if I would start smoking now, 2 weeks from now, I would probably not do any push-ups anymore. Because now my feeling of I feel good comes from, you know, smoking. And that adds extra weight to what I have to lift, you know, because suddenly my lungs aren't working properly anymore. And every time I feel heavy, I just smoke something that makes me forget why I feel heavy, because I have to deal with things. And, you know, it's not the point of wanting to deal with them. It's you either deal with it or you don't. You know, I don't want to deal with it, but I either deal with it or I sit around and I mope. And I've tried it now a couple of times, and I'm probably gonna try again. You know, I don't have to be a saint about it. You know, I could maybe smoke a joint every once in a while. And maybe I can have times where I just smoke for 2 weeks straight. But just always consider that, you know, in an environment where there's children, maybe smoking isn't the best thing. So maybe you keep it to times where children are in bed, right? Maybe you keep it to times when you're just alone, or I don't know what, right? It's like, you know, I mean, we can dive into these topics, and then we can talk about sex. I mean, is it okay to have sex in a room where also your children sleep? I mean, how do you think they do it in Africa where they live in one hut? You know, how do you think they get more children? You know, how do you think children learn from their parents how to have sex? Because they watch them. Why do I have to feel ashamed if I sleep with my wife in front of my children? Because my children come from there. You know, oh, this is how, you know, why does a child have to ask, where did we come from? Why do they have to ask it? Because we're so weird. You know, and I don't know what's right. Just by saying this, people may say, are you crazy? You're going to confuse children? Yeah. How are we going to confuse children even more than to make them feel like, or to have them feel like, you know, they don't even know if they're a man or a woman anymore? I mean, that's the only thing that I can hold on to, that if I'm in a relationship with a woman, you know, I will not be the one that will give birth to a child. That's just the way it is. I will not feed a child with my breasts, no matter how much I would like to do it, or how much I would like to talk myself into that I should have the right. I should have the right. Yeah, that's just moping. Because your body clearly says no to that. You know, the only milk that's coming out of your system is that milk. And that makes children. It doesn't feed them. And if you try, you know, that's what I would call sick. So I think we have to just think about these things. You know, if you have a loving relationship, you know, a man and a woman loving relationship, and they have a child together, why would the child give a shit if you'd have sex in front of it? You know, you're not involving the child, and the child will probably sleep. You know, I'm not going to scream around like a maniac so that the whole world could know I'm having sex now. You know, no, I'm just going to do it silent and peaceful, and, you know, I don't have to do it like they show it in porn. You know, you can just hug each other and stay connected through the whole night. I mean, it's possible. If you learn to not just ejaculate all the time. It's called sexual kung fu. Listen to Mantak Chia. Read his books. you know, or just know that it works and then practice to contract the muscles of your pelvic floor and redirect the energy of the orgasm into your body. And then pull your wife with you. You know, I don't have all the answers. I just know that neither does science, and neither does the mob, and neither do those politicians that do nothing but sit around and debate about whether or not to legalize cannabis, although they're smoking it already. Right? It's like everybody makes their own rules, and if you don't want that people know that you're having sex while your children are present, you know, I don't have children, I'm just talking about it. And this is a highly controversial topic. But if you don't want that people know it, well, just don't talk about it. And maybe explain to your children that, you know, they shouldn't talk about it either. But if you don't want your children to talk about it, then maybe it's best to wait, you know, until they're older. But how can you ever have sex then, you know? I think there's a certain age from which you could say that a child becomes conscious. Why should it be traumatizing to see your parents make love to each other? Shouldn't it be something beautiful? Why can't I look at an animal that does it, but I can't do it, right? Without people tearing me apart. You know, we think we are so above being animals, but the way we act, it's just like a bunch of angry wolves that go on some kind of killing spree. I mean, we just made murdering animals like mass murder. You know, we just say that that's something good and that we need all this meat. I don't eat meat. Show me a lot of meat eaters that can do 40 push-ups, that can do what I do. Show me a lot of meat eaters. Just show it to me. It's just, you know, I don't get it why we praise weakness. And, you know, this is not riling up people. And maybe it is, right? Maybe we need to be a little bit riled up about life. Maybe we just need to say, hey, I want to live. You know, I don't want to die in some kind of weird bubble that's the comfort zone. You know, I don't want to turn into some kind of weak cripple that can't even sit straight anymore because he's so used to sitting like this. And I don't care how old you are, because there's people way older than you that started to change. And there's people way younger than you that started to change. You know, I started drastically changing probably from the age of 29, 30. You know, where I really started changing. And I became conscious about the change. You know, that took a while. But I always made different choices. And I'm not quite sure. You know, it's not the smartest thing to drink another coffee now. Just check. Oh yeah, I restarted. Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna set myself up. I'm gonna make another coffee. I'm gonna work. Then I'm probably gonna eat again. And when I feel super tired, I'm gonna render this next video. And then I'm going to, you know, it's so crazy. I mean, have you seen people's cars are just getting bigger and bigger? I mean, can't you be a little bit considerate of your surroundings and just buy smaller cars, you know, because in the space where your car fits, you know, there could be 2 cars. That's what I call insane. That's what I call insane.